Shalom, giving all praises, honor, and glory to our power, Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shah, Bahasham Rachak, Kodash, double honors to the apostles, the bishops, and the elders of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect of the tabernacles of David, scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, and wherever you may be, Shalom, Yasharallah, Shalom. All right, we are in Matthew chapter 5. We've done up to 4 chapters already, which gets us to Matthew chapter 5. All right, so verse 1, there's a lot going on in this chapter, so this may be kind of lengthy, but we'll get through it. So Matthew chapter 5, verse 1 says, "And seeing the multitudes, he went up into a mountain, and when he was set, his disciples came unto him." Now this is pretty much continuing from the last chapter, because if you go back, let me see here. There you go. Bottom of the last chapter. As you start from right here, it says, "And Yahushua went about all Galilee, teaching in their synagogues, and preaching the gospel of the kingdom, and healing all manner of sickness and all manner of disease among the people. And his fame went throughout all Syria, and they brought unto him," which is up north, uh, when you're looking at the map, east, it's like in between, modern day Turkey and pretty much, if you like I say, if you look at the ancient map, you have like probably around the area where you see Lebanon, not quite on the coast, more so to the east. But anyways, it says, "And they brought unto him all sick people that were taken with diverse diseases and torments, and those which were possessed with devils, and those which were lunatic, and those that had the palsy, and he healed them. And there followed him great multitudes of people from Galilee, and from the Decapolis, and from Jerusalem, and from Judea, and from beyond Jordan," which leads us up to here, this verse 1 here, where it says, "And seeing the multitudes, he went up into a mountain." And that's, I know you understand, all these different crowds of people, healing and things that he was doing. All right. Which a lot of these people, it wasn't so much as what he was teaching, it was just the healing. And you have a portion where the individuals followed him after he did the 5 loaves. What was it? The 5 fish and the loaves of bread. All right. So yeah, after he fed the multitude, basically, they were the ones that were searching him out, but not because of what he taught. It's because of they got fed. The miracle of being able to feed everybody with that little bit, right? Which really dwindles it down to even not even it being a miracle, just the fact that they got fed, right? Because Jake like cookouts, right? So it says, "And he opened his mouth." Actually, hold on, because well, yeah, we can keep going. It says, "And he opened his mouth and taught them, saying, Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven." All right, and I want to pull up this word "poor." So it says, "Reduced to beggary, begging, asking alms," which you had the one guy who was sitting at the beautiful gate. I think he ran into Peter and John. Uh, it says, "Destitute of wealth, influence, position, honor." Right, and that's what we are right now. Okay, and it goes on to say, "Lowly, afflicted, destitute of the Christian virtues and eternal riches, helpless, powerless to accomplish an end." Yeah, because our help coming from the hills. There's nothing we could do in the physical to deliver ourselves and to bring ourselves up, right? Because the weapons of our warfare are not carnal. And it goes on to say, "Straightforward, poor, needy, little lacking in anything. Look, there you go. As respects their spirit." You see, their spirit. Okay, our spirits have been brought low, but us being gifted this truth, it brings your spirit back up, right? Though, uh, what matter of fact, was it Paul that said that though my outward man perish, the inner man is renewed day by day, something like that. Paul said, right? Destitute of wealth, of learning and intellectual culture, which the schools afford. Men of this class most readily give themselves up to the Messiah's teaching and prove themselves fitted to lay hold of the heavenly treasure. Here you go, you see? And I want to actually grab John chapter 7, right? And verse 14. And it says, "Now about the midst of the feast, Yahushua went up into the temple and taught. And the Jews marveled, saying, how knoweth this man letters, having never learned? Yeah, because as we just read that definition, those that would, you see, the Lord is not going to, I mean, he can pick the super smart guys because, I mean, there's some smart guys in the ministry. But what I mean is, like these people, in the world, like I'm a genius and they got this platform and they're famous, or they go here, go there, they're so known. All right. A lot of us, never even graduated. All right. I think I dropped out. Was it 11th? I was moving to the 11th grade. I ended up dropping out. I think I went back in 2010, got my GED. Okay. So the point I'm making is uh, that it's not always going to be, the Lord doesn't necessarily need the super smart guys, some genius scientist guys, right? And that's what they said to, I think it was Yahushua. I know this man letters, all right? I mean, I know they said it to Yahushua, but I mean, I was trying to, the Pharisees, trying to think of the name, because we're reading what I'm talking about here. I kind of said it wrong. But yeah, it says, and the Jews marvel, saying, how knoweth this man letters, having never learned? You never went to a synagogue, like the churches, they'll swear we're lying, all right? Because we didn't go to the seminary school, all right? We didn't do this, or we didn't come to church. Where you get, right? It's the Spirit, man, okay, of the Lord that has come upon men to give them the knowledge and understanding of the truth. Not your pastor in the church, man. How know, and there's some pastors out there actually know about the truth, okay? Very few of them actually teach that they're Israelites, because still in their gospel they'll go off because they want to push this God loves everybody thing, right? But then there's some who know about it, the majority numbers who know about it, and then they still teach otherwise, all right? It's just wicked. It says, and the Jews marvel, because it's all about money, saying, how knoweth this man letters, having never learned? Yahushua answered them and said, my doctrine is not mine, but his that sent me. Excuse me. If any man will do his will, he shall know of the doctrine, whether it be of the Most High or whether I speak of myself. Yeah. So those of us that have involved in this ministry, we understand, the process of things, and, where this stems from. It's not for our own intelligence or because our own merits, because we wanted it so bad. No, we understand that we were chosen, to do this. All right. And we hope to be one of the elect, because the scriptures say many are called, but few are chosen. All right. So yeah, I just wanted to get that right there, because of the last one we read, that's to the wealth of learning and intellectual culture which the schools afford. Men of this class most readily give themselves up to the Messiah's teaching and prove themselves fitted to lay hold of the heavenly treasure. All right. So continuing on, it says, blessed are they that mourn, for they shall be comforted. Who's the ones mourning? It's the Israelites, all right? Because the heathens are at ease round about us, like it says in Zechariah 1. Okay? Verse 5 says, blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. And I want to pull up this word meek. Mildness of disposition, gentleness of spirit. You see, meekness. All right? Gentleness of spirit. All right? And I actually want to jump over here to the book of Luke, chapter 18. The point is in 8. We're going to read down. So it says, and he spake a parable unto them to this end, that men ought always to pray and not to faint, saying, there was in a city a judge which feared not the Most High, neither regarded men. And there was a widow in that city, and she came unto him, saying, avenge me of mine adversary. And he would not for a while, but afterward he said within himself, though I fear not the Most High, nor regard men, yet because this widow troubleth me, I will avenge her, lest by her continual coming she weary me. All right. And the Lord said, hear what the unjust judge saith, and shall not the Most High avenge his own elect, right? Which cry day and night unto him, though he bear long with them. See, because mercy is of the Lord, and his time of movement and judgment is of him as well. Okay. So though he sees us suffering, all right, he has a set appointed time where he's going to, do all things. All right. So it says, I tell you that he will avenge them speedily. Nevertheless, when the Son of Man cometh, shall he find faith on the earth. You see? So going back to what we read there, right? Mildness of disposition, gentleness of spirit, meekness, right? It says, blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. Okay. And really is dealing with the remnant. All right. Because the 2/3 are, like wild hyenas. So continuing on, it says, verse 6 says, blessed are they which do hunger and thirst after righteousness, for they shall be filled. Right. And I want to get Isaiah, all right, 55:1. It says, ho, everyone that thirsteth, come ye to the waters, and he that hath no money, come ye, buy and eat. Yea, come, buy wine and milk without money and without price. All right, because this truth is free, man. All right, we're not selling you breakdowns. We're not selling you names. We're not selling you anything when it comes to this ministry, because that's wicked and that's going off. All right, it says, blessed those that hunger and thirst after righteousness. Right. So it says we're because ultimately we're looking, for salvation, new bodies, which, will make us permanently righteous. All right. And in a righteous kingdom, all right, where everything is judged righteously. Unlike now. It says, wherefore do you spend money for that which is not bread, and your labor for that which satisfies not? Hearken diligently unto me, and eat ye that which is good, and let your soul delight itself in fatness. Incline your ear, and come unto me. Hear, and your soul shall live, and I will make an everlasting covenant with you, even the sure mercies of David. And that's what we all hope and strive for. All right. Because, because of David's dealings, when he went off, he should have been put to death. All right. But the Lord had mercy upon him. Okay. And we're looking for that same mercy, for this life and our previous lives, all right, to receive the Lord's mercy, that we may receive salvation. All right. So let's go back. So, yep. So moving on, verse 7 says, blessed are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy. All right. And this is very important. Let me get James first. All right. James chapter 2 and verse 13. It says, for he shall have judgment without mercy that hath showed no mercy, and mercy rejoiceth against judgment. All right. So that's a very important one right there. If you show no mercy, you'll get no mercy. Because as we just mentioned from that last scripture, we all want mercy. We all want, salvation. All right. But if you're trying to press down someone else because you're angry or whatever the case may be, maybe you got into it, with another brother and you never, pretty much got over it. All right. And you're holding that grudge. All right. Or if it comes to judgment in period, because even when you go to the law, right? You like it speaks about like taking a bribe, to kind of skew judgment or whatever, or maybe you're taking favor because there's no respect to person, but you're taking favor on this person because you knew him or whatever. All right, you can't do those things. All right. And also just going off of this point, if you're keeping a heavy judgment upon someone, well, it's not even called for those type of measures, man. For he shall have judgment without mercy that has showed no mercy, and mercy rejoiced against judgment. And that's kind of the lot that the Pharisees, the wicked Pharisees, were falling into, because they were trying to hold the Israelites so heavy to it. All right, to the letter of the law, right? I want to go back, but I also want to get something else. John 7. The point is in 24. I'm going to start at 22. So it says, Moses therefore gave unto you circumcision, not because it is of Moses, but of the fathers. And ye on the Sabbath day circumcise a man. If a man on the Sabbath day receive circumcision, that the law of Moses should not be broken, are ye angry at me, because I have made a man every whit whole on the Sabbath day? So they were being hypocritical about Yahushua healing on the Sabbath day. All right, and it goes to show you how evil they were. All right, because it's like if the Pharisees had the power to heal people, and it was a Sabbath day, they'll let you sit there and ache and whatever, go through this pain. You maybe got sickle cell. They let you, go through that because it's a Sabbath day. All right. It just goes to show you, the level of wickedness and hypocrisy that the Pharisees were on, the wicked Pharisees were on. Verse 24, the point says, judge not according to the appearance, but judge righteous judgment. All right. So it's not really about what you see. It's about, you understanding the situation. Okay. Also, you can use that towards because men think this is an all Wesley Snipes thing, and it's not. Okay. The back of the day Wesley Snipes, super dark chocolate, right? No, it's not a black thing, man. We're not black, and it's not an all black thing. All right. We're not black Hebrew Israelites. Okay. There are men who are different shades from the darkest to the lightest and everywhere in between in this ministry, man. So you can also use this, and not even just about the ministry, just in general, Israelites, period. All right, because you'll have, I forget, there was this one Asian chick. I want to say she was Japanese. It's either Chinese or Japanese. I can't really remember, but and I think it's like on a TV show. I don't even know if it's still out. I don't even know the name of it, but I remember seeing it one time, like on YouTube, how it comes across your feed or whatever. And so this girl, she could see a dance one time. All right, what happened? They'll show her a dance, and she'll look at it, and then immediately after, she will do the dance. Now, yeah, it could be set up just for views or whatever, where they practice the dance and you pretend like she doesn't know. But it wasn't like she was just doing one dance. She was seeing multiple dances. But then again, people who can dance, they know multiple things. I mean, Michael Jackson, for example. Me personally, I don't think it was set up that way. I believe she really could copy like dances. She see a dance one time and then she'll copy it to a T, and she could dance. All right, Israelite, man. Okay, you see, a group of people look like like the video the other day. All right, look like Moabites. Uh, and I see some of those videos sometimes, right, where they look like Chinese people or whatever, and then even some that look like white people, and you see them dancing, they getting down. All right, somewhere there's some Israelite blood in them, but then you could point out the ones who look like, who you think probably, oh, that's probably Edomite right there, because they ain't got no flavor. Like, look at this person, but look at everybody else. So it's like, you could point it out. But those people like that have flick, because we are the salt of the earth. All right, more than likely they're Israelites, man. So you have camps out there who judge according to appearance. Oh nah, man, you just I don't know, dude come up, I don't know, you're German, all right? Because I remember having which is a cool dude, all right, way back in, I think it was high school. Had a German exchange student that came over. I actually made friends with him. Me and another guy I used to hang with made friends with him. Cool dude, all right. And he had a little flavor. Okay, he probably, now looking hindsight, he's probably an Israelite, man. You couldn't tell him any different from any of the regular so-called black kids, all right. But you just knew he was a German though. You could look in his face and say he almost looked like a Russian, which they don't look too much more different. But you get my point, all right. He talked like it, okay. Try to teach me some daggone German words and stuff like that. Well, yeah. But you have men that judge according to the appearance of what they see, and immediately write somebody off as just being, Japanese, or you a dot head, right? Or whatever, and you don't even know. All right, because Israelites are scattered. You'd be surprised who is an Israelite. Okay. So let's go on back. Um and verse 8, right? So it says, "Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see the Most High." And the heart is talking about your mind. Excuse me. All right, your heart is talking about your mind. And I want to get the word pure. Right, so it says clean, pure, physically, look, purified by fire, right, through the trials, all right, they were, facing now, and ultimately Jacob's trouble, like gold tried in the fire, in the furnace of affliction, in a similitude, like a vine cleansed by pruning, and so fitted to bear fruit. In a Levitical sense, clean, the use of which is not forbidden in parts. No, so that's something else. Ethically, free from corrupt desire, from sin and guilt, free from every admixture of what is false, sincere, genuine, blameless, innocent. He talks about that in Revelation 14, right? Unstained with the guilt of anything. All right. Makes me think about we talked about it the other day. Offering sacrifices. The animal sacrifices, but they would never clear their guilt. But Yahweh Shai was able to clear that guilt. Okay, because you can look forward. It's like, all right, I could take a breather. I don't have to think about the past anymore. This is the path, and I can move forward on that path, right? But what verse was that? Okay, yeah, blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see the Most High. Now I want to also go jump over here to Matthew chapter 7. I want to get verse 15, and it says, "Beware of false prophets, which come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ravening wolves. Yeah, so because you have individuals out here who are not so pure in heart, who are not so sincere, all right, who actually have, uh, what's the word, ulterior motives, all right. They want something out of it. They want, some fame and glory on a platform. They want to go on different platforms so they can be seen and heard. They want money. They want women, and it leads them down, a different path. Like what does Scripture say? And they pierced themselves through with many sorrows. Just roughly paraphrasing part of that particular verse. Um, I don't necessarily want to pull it up. I want to get this though real quick. Matthew 3:8. All right, bring forth therefore fruits meet for repentance. All right. Let me. I might see if I can. How is it worded? Pierced through with many. Yep. First, Timothy 6:10. For the love of money is the root of all evil, which while some coveted after, they have erred from the faith and pierced themselves through with many sorrows. And really, you can. This is towards the ministry itself. Those that come to the truth, but then it's all about the money, right, and so on and so forth. But on a flip side, you can actually talk about, these so-called celebrities according to this world, all right, where they do, all kinds of, weird things and acts and rituals and, sacrifices and all kind of crazy things for what? For dollar bills. And a lot of them, they fall into this drunken stupor or drugs and stuff like that. And they always got shades on their eyes because they understand the wickedness that they have to go through and endure in order to stay relevant and to make this kind of money that they want. And so a lot of times they're hiding their eyes because, like they say, the windows to a man's soul, right? So you can look in these celebrities' eyes, these actors and actresses' eyes, and see there's something there that's very empty because of what they have to do to get this money. All right, rappers, actors, all these different people's athletes, all right, so on and so forth. And so they pierce themselves through with many sorrows to make all these big dollar amount wages, all these decimal points, right? And they have many sorrows because of what they have to do to get that money and as well as maintain that money, because you're not just going to do something and then you're just forever set. No, you have to constantly indulge in these activities that they want. And you know how far that rabbit hole goes, cameras and all these things. Okay, so going back, verse 9 says, blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of the Most High. Right, and even on the carnal side of things, the scriptures tell you the agree with thy adversary quick, because even if you're not wrong, it's just best to comply. All right, but anyways, verse 10 says, blessed are they which are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Yeah, uh, as a matter of fact, we can just keep reading on that one. It says, blessed are ye when men shall revile you and persecute you, and shall say all manner of evil against you falsely for my name's sake. And we've all experienced those things. Individuals that will allow you to try to put a stain on your name and so on and so forth. Okay, and you see, as the Lord set up an example. All right, men that talk that big talk, all right, and they spread lies on other men, and then when they go through it, then all of a sudden it's a sad story, it's a sob story. Oh, you don't know what I got to deal with every whatever. But you told lies and it was okay. You didn't know what those men had to deal with every day. You see, who some men still deal with every day. But you say what you said based off of lies, all right, and then when it comes on you, now you can't handle it. You don't know what I got to do. What are you dealing with? Which I don't want to hang on that, but I'm just saying what I got to go through. I got this, that, and going. What do you got going on? The public seeing you now, okay? If you were in my position, you wouldn't be able to do this and do that. You sure? Because a lot of men out there are living with lies on their name and going right out the door every single day. All right, worrying about one thing, this truth. So no, you can't handle what you're saying. You're the one who broken and fall. You're the one who stepped down. But let's keep going. Let's get the word revile. To reproach, upbraid, revile, of undeserved reproach to revile, to upbraid, cast favors received in one's teeth. What the heck is that? Okay. So it's, yeah, undeserved reproach. As a matter of fact, let's pull up revile because they didn't really give us too much there. Criticize in an abusive or angrily insulting manner. See, reproach, and that goes along with lies, man, because lies do hurt a person's character. Address someone in such a way as to express disapproval or disappointment. Looking down on someone else. All right, bum camps and stuff like that. The expression of disapproval or disappointment. See, so looking at you with the side eye, like, you know. So blessed are ye when men shall revile you and persecute you, and shall say all manner of evil against you falsely for my name's sake. Verse 12 says, rejoice and be exceeding glad, for great is your reward in heaven. You see, that's the turnaround for those of us that have to experience this, right? It says, rejoice and be exceeding glad, for great is your reward in heaven, for so persecuted they the prophets which were before you. You see? All right, and the scriptures tell you, woe unto you when men begin to speak well of you. And these men out here who are all about money don't seem to get it. You know why? Because the they got the little Wayne spirit. What you say? You can't see a little nigga the money anyway. All right, that's all you say. Money, money, money. Right? You're not thinking about anything else. Okay, he's another one of those ones who always, drugged up or some drunken stupor. All right, because you're just not gonna make it just in this world just based off of raw talent. Your raw talent gets you in the door, but what you have to do to maintain that level, all right, is what these rappers, these actors, these athletes want to hide. Matthew 23, and we're going to start at 31. It says, wherefore ye be witnesses unto yourselves that ye are the children of them which killed the prophets. Fill ye up then the measure of your fathers, ye serpents, ye generation of vipers. How can ye escape the damnation of hell? He was talking pretty much to those Pharisees, the wicked Pharisees. Wherefore, behold, I send unto you prophets and wise men and scribes, and some of them ye shall kill and crucify, and some of them shall ye scourge in your synagogues, and persecute them from city to city. Yeah, and Yahushua was doing the same thing. What he was teaching was so truthful, and they knew it and understood it. That's how it cut so deep. That's why they were so angry. Okay, and it was hurting their position, hurting their pockets. Okay, hurting their fame. All right, because that's all they cared about themselves. So they were really cut, to the bone gristle. All right. So it really hurt them. The things that Yahushua was saying from time to time, it made them angry. It says that upon you may come all the righteous blood shed upon the earth, from the blood of righteous Abel unto the blood of Zacharias, son of Berechias, whom ye slew between the temple and the altar. Verily I say unto you, all these things shall come upon this generation. Verse 37, O Jerusalem, Jerusalem, thou that killest the prophets, and stonest them which are sent unto thee, how often would I have gathered thy children together, even as a hen gathered her chickens under her wings, and ye would not. And I'm going to start right there because I want to speak on something else. But if we keep speaking about these wicked Pharisees, we go on and on and on. All right. How many, different angles, all right, that you can kind of meet that particular topic. Because I want to get something else here. 1 Timothy 2. And I just want 14 and 15 says, and Adam was not deceived, but the woman being deceived was in transgression. That's not what I wanted. What I wanted. I got Titus. No, I got Timothy. It's not what I wanted. Was it 1 Timothy I wanted? I think that was what I wanted. I don't think it was Thessalonians. I might have got the wrong one. Okay, yeah, that's what it was. 1 Thessalonians. I wanted Thessalonians. 1 Thessalonians 2 and 14. For ye, brethren, became followers of the churches of the Most High, which in Judea are in the Messiah, Yahushua. For ye also have suffered like things of your own countrymen. You see, you also have suffered like things of your own countrymen, even as they have of the Jews. And it's always, Israel the most that comes against, the true men of the Lord who are doing this thing, in truth and sincerity, right? Because they all have that same which is a spirit, man. This community, all everybody with all this that spirit, all right. The what I call them, the the pretty much the planeteers, man. Okay, gold planet. The Lord is not dealing with all Israel. He's only dealing with the remnant of the nation of Israel. He doesn't care about no community Israelites, man. That's something that men are pushing. Okay. Verse 15 says, we both killed the Lord Yahushua and their own prophets, you see, and have persecuted us, and they please not the Most High and are contrary to all men. If I'm correct, that was the one that I wanted. I made a mistake and I had Timothy there, but it's okay. I think the point is made either way. So we can actually go back to Matthew chapter 5, and I think we're right here, verse 13. So it says, ye are the salt of the earth, but if the salt have lost its savor, wherewith shall it be salted? It is thenceforth good for nothing, but to be cast out and to be trodden underfoot of men. And yeah, we fallen a long way from following the Lord's laws, statutes, and commandments. All right, because when you go to Deuteronomy 4, it will tell you that this was our wisdom in the sight of the nations. Okay, now also on a kind of a more physical, carnal type of side, as we mentioned before, Jake is always the best in sports, singing, rapping, dancing, or anything else that you could think of. All right. Jake is always the best because we are the salt of the earth. All right. Um, we read all that. Yeah. Yep. Be trying underfoot of men. So verse. Actually, I want to get a couple of things though. Says wherewith shall it be salted? It says it is thenceforth good for nothing, but to be cast out and to be trodden underfoot of men. All right. So let me jump first to Mark chapter 9. And we get 49 and 50. All right, and it reads, for everyone shall be salted with fire, and every sacrifice shall be salted with salt. Salt is good, but if the salt have lost its saltness, wherewith will ye season it? Have salt in yourselves, and have peace one with another. All right, so yeah, I was actually talking about going towards their character, which is why I just mentioned, the ways of the Lord, which was given to us only. That's why I broke up that Deuteronomy chapter 4. Our wisdom in the sight of the nation. The laws wasn't just, regular commands. All right. These were things to really govern you in a peaceful, upright life. All right. They will give you longevity. All right. And also, peace amongst one another. So, let me jump over here to the book of Luke, chapter 14. And I just want 34 and 35. So it says, salt is good. It's the same thing. But if the salt have lost its savor, wherewith shall it be seasoned? It's just read different in the other one. It says, it is neither fit for the land, nor yet for the dunghill, but men cast it out. He that hath ears to hear, let him hear. You see? So there's it's the same thing being said here, but each prophet wrote it in a different kind of similar manner. All right. And I want to grab one more thing here. Leviticus 2. And 13, it says, in every oblation of thy meat offering shalt thou season with salt. Neither shalt thou suffer the salt of the covenant of thy God to be lacking from thy meat offering. With all thine offerings thou shalt offer salt. All right, so, it could be used in different manners there. All right, you have, talk about sacrifices, but mainly it's dealing with us Israelites. I just want to, read that just to make a little extra point there. All right, it's mainly dealing with us Israelites, our character, even, just what we're capable of as people, right? That's different from the heathen nations. So there's different little avenues there, which is why I want to read that, because it opens up one of those different avenues there. So because we pretty much hit like 2 or 3 there, I could say. But let's keep going. All right. But yeah, it's dealing with the Israelites, man. I'm not talking about actual salt, but you can that's why we read that Leviticus, dealing with the actual salt. All right. But salt is talking about the Israelites, or the salt of the earth, you know, dealing with the Israelites, I should say. Matthew 5 and 14 says, ye are the light of the world. A city that is set on a hill cannot be hid. All right. You are a light of the world. The word world here is G2889, which is cosmos. And that's talking about the Israelites. So you had like the whole ordeal with the circumcision versus the uncircumcision. You're supposed to be a light to those Gentile Israelites. That's what the scriptures say. You were a light to the Gentiles, or they were supposed to be, because they grew up with the customs, they grew up with the law and knowing the right way to be as an Israelite. Okay, and the Gentiles didn't grow up with that. Okay, some of them, majority of them grew up thinking that they were, Greeks or whatever the case may be. You see, dealing with false idols and all kinds of different rituals associated with false gods and idols. They didn't know the true way, so you were supposed to be a light and say, hey, you guys are Israelites too, man. All right, hey, come over here, check this thing out. This is how we should be. You see, and that's why the decree went out that was given to to be delivered by Paul. Okay, to those Gentile Israelites. All right, this is what they need to worry about. All right, because basically it's more than that. There's more they have to deal with, but the apostles, were wise enough to give out that certain decree because they knew if they were, sincere, you're going to grow. It's like, certain things you find out as you keep going, like, oh, I can't do this. So you stop doing it. All right. But if you just throw those things in a person's face, that may, deter them from the truth. So they put out a decree and says like these are the things that you should focus on and you'll do well, because as they eventually learn and grow, all right, and get deeper into the truth, they're going to realize there's certain things that they need to stop doing and cut off. So that's going to come natural. But when you're throwing it in a person's face, like somebody comes up smoking a cigarette, and the only thing you can do is focus on the cigarette. You're not trying to see where their mind is. You're not trying to see if they've been picking up on what you're trying to say to them, or showing them, I don't know, Deuteronomy 28 in the Bible, whatever the case may be. All right, and you just focus on the cigarette. And like, what's this dude about, man? It's gonna kind of, before they even actually walk through the door, all right, and come to the truth, you're gonna turn them away. All right, so it says, "Ye are the light of the world." So the world is talking about Israelites. Okay, so Israelites been a light to other Israelites, right? A city that is set on a hill cannot be hid, and this is very important when it comes to the teachers. All right, because if you have the ability to teach, all right, you really should be teaching, and it goes on to say that it says, "Neither do men light a candle and put it under a bushel, but on a candlestick, and it giveth light unto all that are in the house." And you get the word bushel, it's pretty much straightforward. Modius, a dry measure holding 16 sextari, or 1/6 of the attic. Medimnus, about a peck, 9 liters. All right, so you know what? They actually didn't give us what I thought. Certain measure of dry things. You know what? Let's do this. Let's see what it reads, and let's do the NLT. No one lights a lamp and then puts it on their basket. There you go. You see, like if you have a basket, like I don't know, a waste basket or a laundry basket or whatever. All right, if you put a candle on the floor and then you put the basket over it, it takes away a light, right? Even if a laundry basket's got, because laundry baskets have holes in them or whatever, it's still going to dim that light a lot lower than what it would be if there was no covering over it at all. All right, and this is just symbolic, but it's saying that you're not going to hide your light. All right, if you have a skill set that could be valuable to the rest of the body, all right, you should be using that. All right, because really it's that's the lesser level, is pretty much serving one another. But the highest level is you've come to actually serve the Lord first and foremost. All right. And you've been given this gift, then, you need to utilize it. And then from, stepping up and utilizing your gift is how we serve one another. All right. With our particular, gift, that skill set that was given to us. So it says, no one lights a lamp and then puts it on their basket. Instead, a lamp is placed on a stand where it gives light to everyone in the house, you see? And well, I mean, it's straightforward. I have to explain. It says, in the same way, let your good deeds shine out for all to see, so that everyone will praise your heavenly Father. There you go. All right. So it says, neither do men light a candle and put it under a bushel, but on a candlestick, and it giveth light unto all that are in the house. Let your light so shine before men, that they may see your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven. Because, ultimately the goal is to wake up the elect, which we have no say so in that. We know the Spirit moves to do those things. But how can they hear the word of truth without someone teaching it, right? And, that's how the elect are sealed. Mostly done through this internet, going throughout the world, okay? And someone, in I don't know, in East India somewhere, in Korea or whatever, All right, they come to the realization that they're an Israelite. All right, because their spirit just resonates to the truth. All right, they're not listening to other things. They're listening to the prophets and they're believing. They're calling on Yahweh Bahasham Yahushua. That's more than likely an Israelite right there, without a shadow of a doubt. So verse 17 says, "Think not that I am come to destroy the law or the prophets. I am not come to destroy, but to fulfill." All right, and this is something that hits the churches heavy, because they would swear that the law is done away with, and it's really just so they can go to Red Lobster. All right, so they can cook pork chop at the Sunday school. Think not that I am come to destroy the law. I am not come to destroy the law. All right, because we talk about it all the time. There's certain laws that in this captivity it's impossible for us to keep. So men that say they're keeping the law 100%, you are a liar and you're going off by saying that. Furthermore, you're also saying that because you're perfect in the law, you don't need Yahushua. Because if someone's perfect in the law and you're getting judged according to the letter of the law, right, then you're going to get salvation because you were perfect in the law. You kept pretty much the standard of the first covenant, which is impossible. Even if we weren't in captivity right now, it would be impossible. You see, because of the flesh that you're in. Nobody's going to keep the law 100% in this flesh as well as in this captivity. In this flesh, in captivity. That's a double down. So anybody saying that is definitely going off, man. Okay? No one's perfect in the letter of the law. And even if it was possible that you could be perfect in the law, your justification is not going to come through keeping the law. That has been changed. It is going to come through your faith in Yahweh Shai. Right? Not Jesus, not Christ, right? Yahweh Shai. You see? So that's why you have to really analyze what some of these guys are saying, because it sounds good, but unless you know what's going on, you don't know where they're going off at with certain things that they say or that they teach. So it says, "Think not that I am come to destroy the law," because you're not going to be justified by keeping the law. Your justification comes through your faith in Yahushua. But he's saying that I'm not coming here to destroy the law. I'm not doing away with the law, because that means if the law is done away with, you can now go out and be a homosexual. You could be a kleptomaniac. You can be a serial adulterer, and so on and so forth. So why would he come to destroy his father's law? It doesn't make sense, you see? And now he's saying it himself, right? I'm not come to destroy the law or the prophets. I am not come to destroy, but to fulfill. For verily I say unto you, till heaven and earth pass, one jot or one tittle shall in no wise pass from the law till all be fulfilled. You see? And I like to get this one often, real quick, before we keep going. Romans 3. All right? This is Paul, right? What did he say? "Seeing it is one God, which shall justify the circumcision by faith and uncircumcision through faith." You see? "Do we then make void the law through faith? God forbid. Yea, we establish the law." So understanding your justification comes through your faith in Yahushua, but we still at the same time, things that we know we should not be doing, we should cut those things out. And things that are according to the law that we can't keep, we should keep them to show the Lord that we reverence them. You see? It's simple. All right. And he says, let me close that down. All right. One jot, right? Or one tittle. Iota, right? So it's the 10th character. Here it is, the Hebrew letter, which is the Yah, the smallest of them all, hence equivalent to the minutest part. All right. Cause the Yah is the 10th character in the Hebrew. All right. In the Hebrew characters. Right. So the smallest one is that Yah. Okay. So it says, one jot or one tittle shall in no wise pass from the law till all be fulfilled. Okay, but in the church say, but see, until all be fulfilled. Well, all things haven't been fulfilled yet. Now has it? And you see how quickly that argument goes away. Now I want to grab real quick. Let's go to Luke chapter 16. When I get 16 and 17, it says, "The law and the prophets were unto John. Since that time the kingdom of the Most High is preached, and every man presseth into it." And listen, it says, verse 17 says, "And it is easier for heaven and earth to pass than one tittle of the law to fail." Mic drop. You see? for those individuals who are trying to say the law is done away with. We just read 2 scriptures on dealing with the law. Yes, through your faith, but your faith doesn't justify you breaking laws, you see? Because you hold to Esau's laws, all right? You do what he says so you won't get a ticket or go to court or go to jail or whatever. So what more the laws of the Lord, all right? Which we don't push the laws heavily. We push Yahushua, but we're making a clear point here. Do we then make void the law? God forbid. Yea, we establish the law. And let's read it again. The law and the prophets were until John. Since that time, the kingdom of the Most High is preached, and every man presseth into it. And it is easier for heaven and earth to pass. It is easier for heaven and earth to pass than one tittle of the law to fail. And we know for a fact the scriptures tell us that the earth abideth forever. So what is the Lord saying here through Yahushua? If the earth abideth forever, and he's telling you it is easier for earth to pass away than the law to be done away with. What is he saying here? And this is a red letter. You see? So the point is made on that, man. We don't even have to hang on that. The point is made. All right? If you get it, you get it. Verse 19 says, whosoever therefore shall break one of these least commandments, all right, it goes on further, all right? It says what? And shall teach men so. So if you teach that the law is done away with, churches, you hit, all right? Any Israelite saying he's in the truth, but you're teaching this, you hit. See? It says, and shall teach men so, he shall be called the least in the kingdom of heaven. But whosoever shall do and teach them, you see, and we teach you about, the laws, but we don't hang on pressing the law because we focus on Yahweh Shah. But we also have to remind you that you are to reverence the law, man, which means, there's certain laws that we can keep and you should keep them. All right. It says, but whosoever shall do and teach them, the same shall be called great in the kingdom of heaven. For I say unto you that except your righteousness shall exceed the righteousness of the scribes and Pharisees, ye shall in no case enter into the kingdom of heaven. Yeah, because the Pharisees, those wicked Pharisees and those scribes, they knew the law. All right, they knew it all. All right, okay, that's why they were over Israel. But the thing is, they were teaching Israel to do this, and that, not do this and this and that, and they themselves were not doing these things. So they were basically, Yahushua was basically saying, right, if you continue following, in the path of these Pharisees, you're going to follow down their same path. Okay. But your righteousness, matter of fact, what is that? We'll get it. Let me read. Actually, yeah, we'll probably get it. Let me keep reading. It says, for I say unto you that except your righteousness shall exceed the righteousness of the scribes and Pharisees, ye shall in no case enter into the kingdom of heaven. Then it goes on to say, you have heard that it was said by them of old time, thou shalt not kill, and whosoever shall kill shall be in danger of the judgment. Right? As a matter of fact, I'm gonna stop and get it now before I go too far, because it says, ye shall in no case enter into the kingdom of heaven. Right? So let me get this first, and then we'll continue. Because I don't want to bundle too much together. So Matthew 23, right? It says Phariseeism exposed. It says, then spake Yahushua to the multitude and to his disciples, saying, the scribes and the Pharisees sit in Moses' seat. All therefore whatsoever they bid you observe. See, that observe and do. But do not ye after their works, for they say and do not. That's what we were just speaking on. You see? For they bind heavy burdens and grievous to be borne, and lay them on men's shoulders, but they themselves will not move them with one of their fingers. So basically, things that were so heavy, it was hard to keep, but they were pressing these things heavy on the people. But they themselves were walking around like, like they didn't have to follow that. All right, that's why Yahushua was calling them hypocrites. You see, verse 5 says, but all their works they do for to be seen of men. They make broad their phylacteries and enlarge the borders of their garments, and love the uppermost rooms at feasts and the chief seats in the synagogues. Yeah, it's all about, the show, the flashy garments, big armbands, long flowing capes covering up your face and slapping your glasses off and stuff like that. Gimmicks, right? Or bringing a worldly feel to things, rap music, all these gimmicks, man. And greetings, okay, not saying the Pharisees were doing that, just giving a modern day example here. So, and greetings in the markets, All right, and to be called of men, rabbi, rabbi. Yeah, people, oh, teacher, great teacher, rabbi. People falling all over them. All right, they love that attention. All right, because they wanted people to worship them. It says, but be not ye called rabbi, for one is your master, even the Messiah, and all ye are brethren. And call no man your father upon the earth, for one is your Father which is in heaven. Neither be ye called masters, for one is your master, even the Messiah. But he that is greatest among you shall be your servant. Going into being lowly and humble, right? And whosoever shall exalt himself shall be abased, and he that shall humble himself shall be exalted. You see? So I also want to go back and get something else, which was in Matthew 3, speaking on the same topic here. In verse 7 says, but when he saw many of the Pharisees and Sadducees come to his baptism, this is John the Baptist we're dealing with now, says, he said unto them, O generation of vipers, who hath warned you to flee from the wrath to come? Bring forth therefore fruits meet for repentance. See, John the Baptist understood that these guys weren't right. They were off. All right. So it's like, hey, there's a lot. You guys got to change. Who warned you about, repenting and, about the Messiah coming? Who warned you about all these different things? Okay. You got a lot to work on. And think not to say within yourselves, we have Abraham to our father, because they were heavy on talking about Abraham and Moses and so on and so forth. All right. What does it say? It says, for I say unto you that the Most High is able of these stones to raise up children unto Abraham, meaning you ain't as important or as great as you think you are. Right. Where man thinking himself to be something, he is nothing. He deceives himself. Right. And now also the axe is laid into the root of the trees. Therefore, every tree which bringeth not forth good fruit is hewn down and cast into the fire. Yeah, and the scriptures go on to not in this chapter, but it talks about every man works being tried in the fire as what manner of works it is. You see, but we'll stop right there, okay? And going back, so we can get through this chapter. So verse 21 says, ye have heard that it was said by them of old time, thou shalt not kill, and whosoever shall kill shall be in danger of the judgment. But I say unto you that whosoever is angry with his brother without a cause shall be in danger of the judgment. And whosoever shall say to his brother, Raka or Rasa, shall be in danger of the council. But whosoever shall say, thou fool, shall be in danger of hellfire. And when he talk about his death, not no hell under the earth, all right? And if you get this word right here, Rasa, Raka, all right? It says empty. An example, a senseless, empty-headed man. A term of reproach used among the Jews in the time of the Messiah. All right. So that's why he was saying that. I don't think we'll get anything out of this. Yeah, empty, vain, idle, worthless. Okay. Keeps going back. Let's see what this is. All right. Same thing there. All right. So we have a quick understanding, senseless, empty-headed man, right? So verse 23 says, therefore, if thou bring thy gift to the altar, and there remembrance that thy brother had aught against thee, leave there thy gift before the altar, and go thy way, first to be reconciled to thy brother, and then come and offer thy gift. Yeah, so if you got some dealing, with a brother, and you guys are on bad terms, okay, make good, all right, with that particular situation, and then move forward. All right. Don't hold a grudge. Basically what it's saying there, to say the least. All right. About holding grudges. Okay. Yeah. Verse 25, moving on to something else, says, agree with thine adversary quickly whilst thou art in the way with them, lest at any time the adversary deliver thee to the judge, and the judge deliver thee to the officer, and thou be cast into the prison. Verily I say unto thee, thou shalt be by no means come out thence till thou hast paid the uttermost farthing. All right. So in modern days, telling you, if an officer, is wrongfully accusing you of something, and you get locked up, you get cuffed or whatever, just don't even fight it, because you're just going to catch another charge. We talked about that the other day. They're going to say, oh, you're resisting arrest or assaulting a police officer. They're going to just tack on extra charges. And then you're going to be found guilty. You're probably going to be found guilty anyways. All right. Given this wicked system. But you're going to make it worse for yourself. And you're not going to come out until you've paid all those charges, which is why they have court fees. Okay. Then sometimes they place you on probation. You got to pay fees every month. And it's just basically sucking your pockets dry. All right. So it's basically saying just, do what's right so that you can, get out of the situation. Right. Because if if you're doing what's right by the Lord and you get caught up in a situation like that, the Lord will deliver you. All right. Some of us have already experienced that before. But I want to get farthing real quick. Quadrants, about the fourth part of an as. Okay, whatever. In the New Testament, a coin equal to one half the Attic chalcus, worth about 3/8 of a cent. I guess we'll pull it up real quick. I don't want to get too deep into it. Quadrants. Yep, 3/8 of a cent is worth about 3/8 of a cent in the Gospel of Mark when the poor widow gave 2 mites. And so a lot of times these things are dealing with pretty much weight. Like if you have a penny now, okay, it's pretty much dealing with the weight, okay. But also there's a, obviously, a certain price to it as well. So it says, moving on, verse 27 says, ye have heard that it was said by them of old time, thou shalt not commit adultery. But I say unto you that whosoever looketh on the woman to lust after her hath committed adultery with her already in his heart. Which is why Yahweh shall call this a wicked adulterous generation. Because we're all guilty of it, all right? Because you might, be checking out some woman from across the room, and she get up and, I don't know, walk to the garbage can, and you like, oh my goodness, you start to get some thoughts, man. And then when she sits back down is when you realize, oh snap, she got a ring on her finger, right? But it's too late. You've already had some kind of sexual desire towards her, or you thought about this or that, so you're guilty of it, though it was innocent, in your thought, because yeah, I mean, because the churches tell you, oh, you lusting out the woman. Well, how the hell is you gonna, how else is a woman gonna find a man attractive, or a man find a woman attractive, unless they lusted after them, right? Okay, it's just certain levels to it, all right. And we're speaking on a particular angle right here, all right. So so it says, yep, they had committed adultery with her already in his heart. It says, and if thy right eye offend thee, pluck it out and cast it from thee, for it is profitable for thee that one of thy members should perish, and not that thy whole body should be cast into hell. And it's not telling you to go and start cutting hands off and chopping off ears and poking out eyes and hopping around with one foot and stuff like that. It's just talking about as a matter of fact, let's just read so we get a scripture to, put it in perspective, right? So it says, verse 30 says, and if thy right hand offend thee, cut it off and cast it from thee, for it is profitable for thee that one of thy members should perish, and not that thy whole body should be cast into hell. And it's talking about death, all right? So let's get this real quick. Colossians 3. You have to put it in perspective what it really means. Verse 5, it says, mortify therefore your members. If you get the word mortify, right, because you hear the word mortician. What does a mortician do? All right, somebody who, dresses up and deals with dead bodies and stuff like that, right? So it says mortify, your members, because it's telling you to pray pretty much, because the scripture say that the spirit is willing, but the flesh, is weak, all right? But, you have to overcome, pretty much the old person that you were in the world, all right? You have to overcome the flesh. And that's not a one-time thing. That's an everyday thing. Examine yourselves daily, right? Whether you be in the faith. All right. It says to make dead. See, put to death, slay. All right. Deprive of power, destroy the strength thereof. That's why we talk about fasting and praying. Sometimes, a demon can try to jump on you. All right. And it's hard to, get it off of you. So you need to really, that's when you really supposed to go into, a heavy, because you should be praying all the time anyways. But maybe the prayer is not working exactly for you. So maybe you need to go into fasting, right? Starve that body out, starve that demon out, all right? So you can really get it off you, all right? Fast and pray. Necros. Yeah, like necromancy. You get the word necromancy. The people that deal with dead, all right? Conjure up dead spirits. There's an example in the Bible. We're not going to get it, though. Look, deceased, departed, one whose soul is in heaven or hell, which, we know that's going off, and then you have to get into it. Destitute of life, without life, inanimate. Look, metaphorically, spiritually dead. See? The spirit is indeed willing, but the flesh is weak, man. Destitute of a life that recognizes and is devoted to the Most High, because given up to trespass and sins. Inactive as respects doing right, destitute of force or power, inactive, inoperative. All right. So if we go back and finish the verse, it says, mortify therefore your members, which we just read about, right, in Matthew, which are upon the earth. Fornication. All right. Because now it goes into a deeper what some of these different things that you could be faced with. Fornication, uncleanness, inordinate affection, which is talking about, homosexuality and, being, a woman changing to a man changing to a woman, all those different things like that, right? Inordinate affection, evil concupiscence, which the Lord says through the mouth of, well, who is Paul in Romans chapter 1, the bottom of the chapter. All right, because some people who like to deal with these things, so what did the Lord do? He gave them over to it, which that goes to show you that this person is probably of the 2/3. All right, but he gave them over to those inordinate affections, evil concupiscence, and covetousness, which is idolatry. All right, and we could probably get this for you, just not to read over it. Desire, craving, longing, desire for what is forbidden, like lust. All right. So basically a deep sexual desire, all right, but a wrongful one. All right. It says, for which only one in verse 5, we will read verse 6. For which things sake the wrath of the Most High cometh on the children of disobedience. Talking about who? The 2/3. You see? So let's go back. And I want to get something else here. 1 Corinthians chapter 9. Just want verse 27. It says, but I keep under my body and bring it into subjection, lest that by any means, when I have preached to others, I myself shall be a castaway. All right. So that's straightforward there. All right. Basically, to say the least, practicing what you preach. Okay. And you hear us often going to the example of being like a kleptomaniac. All right. You out there telling people to stop stealing, and you every day stealing. All right. Oh, let me close that out. All right, so going back to Matthew, what verse here? Yeah, it was 30, so going on to 31. So it says, it had been said, whosoever shall put away his wife, let him give her a writing of divorcement, right? A writing of a bill of divorcement. This goes back into the law, all right? So it says divorce, repudiation, a bill of divorce right there, right? A bill of divorce, right? So let's go over here to Deuteronomy 24. Verse 1, law of divorce. It says, when a man had taken a wife and married her, and it come to pass that she find no favor in his eyes, because he hath found some uncleanness in her, then let him write her a bill of divorcement, and give it in her hand, and send her out of his house. And when she is departed out of his house, she may go and be another man's wife. But it's only because of a bill of divorcement, all right? And it's because, as a matter of fact, let's see what it reads so we can actually be more pinpoint. Let's try the AMP. When a man takes a wife and marries her, and it happens that she loses his favor because he has found something indecent or unacceptable about her, and he writes her a certificate of divorce, puts it in her hand, and sends her out of his house. It's not as pinpoint accurate. It says something indecent or acceptable about her. Let's see what the NLT says. Maybe we can get a little deeper. Maybe not. We'll see. So it says, suppose a man marries a woman, but she does not please him. Having discovered something wrong with her, he writes her a letter of divorce, hands it to her, and sends her away out from his house. So they're pretty much all the same there. They don't get too deep into it, but you should, be able to understand it. There's some fault found in this woman, right? It has to be a fault that is found in this woman for you to divorce. You just can't say, I'm tired of her. I want a new woman, all right? She's done nothing wrong. Okay, but you just want to divorce her. No, you can't just do that. There has to be a fault that comes about, okay? And it actually gets into it as we go back to Matthew, but we're also going to read this to put it in perspective as well. So it says, when she leaves his house, she is free to marry another man. But if the second husband also turns against her and divorces her, or if he dies, all right, so there's only two scenarios with the new man. He has to either die first, okay, or I don't know, the same fault that the first man found, the new husband finds. And he was like, I see why he divorced you, and I'm gonna divorce you too. Okay. Verse 4 says, the first husband may not marry her again. All right. For she has been defiled. Why is that? Because you already took her to as a wife, you deflowered her. All right. You find a fault in her. You divorced her. New man got her. she carried on with the same, faults. New man divorced her, or maybe he died, all right? But new man divorced her or whatever, and you can't take her back, okay? That's what it's saying there, straightforward. That would be detestable to Yahweh. You must not bring guilt upon the land. Yahweh, your power, is giving you a special possession. So we can go back to the KJV right there. It says, and if the latter husband hate her, and write her a bill of divorcement, and giveth it in her hand, and sendeth her out of his house, or if the latter husband die, which took her to be his wife, her former husband, the first one, which sent her away, may not take her again to be his wife. After that, she is defiled. You see? Look at the word defile. Tama'ah. To be unclean. There you go. It says to be or become unclean sexually, religiously, or ceremonially. There's a reason why sexually is put in there. Okay? But you have, like we mentioned before, the wicked adulterous generation. You have men and women that, well, I guess not so much as women, but you do have, well, yeah, you can say that because you have women who are sleeping around with different men. All right. But the point out, the angle I was coming from, though, I was going to say men who actually enjoy of sleeping with another man's woman or another man's wife or whatever. All right. Getting his baby mama, getting her while she's pregnant, stuff like that. Different wickedness that these men and these women do out here in this world. All right. Today. So it says, for that is abomination before Yahweh, and thou shalt not cause the land to sin, which Yahweh thy power giveth thee for an inheritance. All right. So if we back, I forgot we went to these other. Here we go. So if we back up to verse 31, it says, it had been said, whosoever shall put away his wife, let him give her a writing of divorcement. So he was pulling from the law, right? So showing you that the law is not done away with. Because if the law was done away with, why is Yahweh shall talking about the law? But anyways, but I say unto you that whosoever shall put away his wife, saving for the cause of fornication, you see? So this puts in perspective of that fault, right? Causeth her to commit adultery, and whosoever shall marry her that is divorced committeth adultery. See? So Yahushua, the word there, porneia, illicit sexual intercourse, adultery, fornication, homosexuality, lesbianism, intercourse with animals, etc. Sexual intercourse with close relatives, all right, and also in the law, Leviticus, sexual intercourse with a divorced man or woman, all right, which is what we just talked about there. Metaphorically, the worship of idols, and that's on a spiritual level, right? But there's a spiritual, fornication as well, adultery, or however you want to call it, all right? Of the defilement of idolatry as incurred by eating the sacrifices offered to idols. So this at the bottom is more on a spiritual level. Everything up above was dealing with the physical level, all right? The carnal level of things, all right? So we have that put in perspective there. So, verse 33. So it says, again, ye have heard that it had been said by them of old time, thou shalt not forswear thyself, but shalt perform unto the Lord thine oaths. Yeah, see here, here, Exodus 20 and 7, thou shalt not take the name of Yahweh thy power in vain, for Yahweh will not hold him guiltless that taketh his name in vain. I also want to get one more, just to read these real quick to put it in perspective. Numbers 30 and 2. It says, if a man vow a vow unto Yahweh, or swear an oath to bind his soul with a bond, he shall not break his word. He shall do according to all that proceeded out of his mouth. All right. So, if you make a vow to the Lord, all right, it's best you keep it, because the Lord can jack you up behind it. All right. So, and then it's pretty much straightforward there. So going back to verse 34, it says, but I say unto you, swear not at all, neither by heaven, for it is the Most High's throne. Which tells you that in Isaiah, right? Heaven is my throne, the earth is my footstool, right? It says, neither by heaven, for it is the Most High's throne, nor by the earth, for it is his footstool, neither by Jerusalem, for it is the city of the great king. And since I mentioned, I'll just get it, because maybe someone doesn't have that scripture. We'll get it real quick. Isaiah 66 and 1. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, the heaven is my throne, and the earth is my footstool. Where is the house that ye build unto me? And where is the place of my rest? For all those things hath mine hand made, and all those things have been, said Yahweh. But to this man will I look, even to him that is poor and of a contrite spirit, and trembleth at my word. All right, here you go. So verse 36 says, neither shalt thou swear by thy head, because thou canst not make one hair white or black. But let your communication be yea, yea, nay, nay. For whatsoever is more than these cometh of evil. Let me pull this up. Jeremiah 17, verse 9 and 10. The heart is deceitful above all things, and desperately wicked. Who can know it? Yahweh will search the heart. So what is the heart talking about? It's talking about your mind. I search the minds, right? I search the heart. I try the reins, even to give every man according to his ways and according to the fruit of his doings. All right. So yeah, it says, ye have heard that it's been said, an eye for an eye. All right. Verse Matthew 5 and 38. An eye for an eye, and a tooth for a tooth, which goes back also to the law. Exodus 21, right, and 22. It says, if men strive and hurt a woman with child, so that her fruit depart from her, right, her baby that she was pregnant with, right, and yet no mischief follow, excuse me, he shall be surely punished, according as the woman's husband will lay upon him, and he shall pay the judges, pay as the judges determine, because maybe the husband is asking for some outrageous number, all right? It wasn't that serious for the amount that he's asking for, so the judge is like, we'll grant you half of that, all right? So, it's what the judges say. And if any mischief follow, then thou shalt give life for life. So, basically, if that baby was lost, all right, you know what that means. Eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth, hand for hand, foot for foot, burning for burning, wound for wound, stripe for stripe. And if a man smite the eye of his servant or the eye of his maid, that it perish, he shall let him go free for his eye's sake. Yeah, because your servant is your servant, and you're allowed to beat your servant, all right? But when you go to giving them some lasting harm, all right, then you're worthy of setting them free, all right? Because now because you've taken their eye forever, okay? So it says, and if he smite out his manservant's tooth or his maidservant's tooth, he shall let them go free for his tooth's sake. All right. So that's going back to the law, right? So verse 39 says, but I say unto you that ye resist not evil, but whosoever shall smite thee on thy right cheek, turn to him the other also. And if any man will sue thee at the law and take away thy coat, let him have thy cloak also. Now, it's not saying you just, get punched in the face, don't defend yourself. Of course, do that, all right? But this is talk about, dealing more so with a spiritual character, all right? You don't have to meet evil with evil. But, in the case of, that particular case, a fight or whatever, somebody just want to punch you in the face or slap you or, spit on you or whatever, all right? You're able to defend yourself, all right? It says, if any man will sue thee at the law and take away thy coat, let him have thy cloak also. All right. It says in verse 41, and whosoever shall compel thee to go a mile, go with them twain. All right. Twain meaning two. So whosoever shall compel thee to go a mile, go with them 2 miles. And this ain't talking about some random ninja, right? This is, dealing with, a brother. All right. If a brother, all right, someone that you can, that you love and respect, right? Not some random ninja in the world. All right, because you got no business, kicking it with them, on that level anyways. This is Ecclesiastes chapter 4. I want verse 9 and 10. It says, 2 are better than 1, because they have a good reward for their labor. For if they fall, the one will lift up his fellow. But woe to him that is alone when he falleth, for he hath not another to help him up. Which is why, we have the body, and the body is so important, right? It says Acts chapter 14, confirming the souls of the disciple, that they continue on in the faith, right? Iron sharpeneth iron, so the man the countenance of his friend. I'm pretty sure there's other scriptures you might can think of. Verse 42 says, give to him that asketh thee, and from him that would borrow of thee, turn not thou away. I think we actually, let's go over here. 2 Corinthians chapter 9, verse 7, right? Every man according as he purposeth in his heart, so let him give, not grudgingly or of necessity, for the Most High loveth a cheerful giver. So as we always speak, if you're going to give something, if you're going to do for someone, just do it from the heart. Because if you're giving it, grudgingly, like, that's nigga, man, I got you. Yeah, hey, you know, you don't give it. Just don't give it. All right. So verse 43 says, ye have heard that it had been said, thou shalt love thy neighbor and hate thine enemy. And the churches try to twist this up. See, love thy brother. You're not my brother. Okay. It's talking about Israelites in general. All right. But well, yeah, you can say in general, because Yahushua wasn't pushing just hate the 2/3. He said, don't really be dealing with the 2/3, but don't hate them because they're still your brothers according to the flesh. All right, this wasn't talking about heathens, right? Loving heathens and treating your heathens as brothers and sisters. No, it's not what it's talking about. All right, we can care less about the heathens. This is talking about Israelite dealings with one another. Okay, verse 44 says, but I say unto you, love your enemies, bless them that curse you, because you can go back to the law and make points from there. All right, because it talks about a man whose cattle, like it's your next door neighbor, but y'all are not on good terms. All right, Mr. Johnson and Mr. Smith are not speaking to each other. Right, but they're both saying they're brothers according to the flesh, but they're not on good terms. But one of their cattle goes astray and he's looking for it. All right, and you might because they're not on good terms. Yeah, he lost those 2 sheep. But then you see the sheep. Well, guess what? You actually got to take those sheep back to that man, even though you're not on good terms with him. So it was dealing with Israelites, all right? When it talks about strangers coming to the land and certain dealings, all right, it was talking about Israelite strangers that came from some other country that they were living in to dwell amongst these Israelites here in this particular camp. All right, all those different laws were pertaining to Israelites versus Israelites, man. All right, but I say unto you, love your enemies. So these enemies are talking about Israelites, all right? So it says, bless them that curse you, and do good to them that hate you, and pray for them which despitefully use you and persecute you. Because it wasn't talking about, dealing well with heathens, man. No, though we're supposed to be at peace with the heathens, because in these modern days, it really stands out even more because you don't know who's an Israelite by face value, right? You have to test the spirit. And me personally, I'm not one who goes around just talking about, what I'm about. I really don't talk to anybody, throughout my day. All right. Every now and then you might, end up in a small chat, but, I try to keep it moving. I'm not a very talkative person, believe it or not. I've always been kind of a quiet person. All right. My family doesn't know what I do. Okay. They know that I'm very heavy, like into the Bible, but they don't really know what I'm about, what I do. They don't know about anything about me going to camping, none of that. All right. And real quick, just to speak on it, briefly, going off of a lesson that I watched yesterday of the elder, because someone had a question about how to keep, not the Sabbath, the Passover, if you're still living with individuals. And, just to add my quick 2 cents, first and foremost, all right, you need to make a heavy prayer to the Lord. At least I'll say what I did, all right? Because, like, what the situation I was in, okay, it's impossible to get to the rest of the house without going through the kitchen, all right? It's like living room, kitchen, rest of the house, right? So, and I know I was coming from work that evening, and I was, or not even evening, it was right before, it was before the sun went down, because I wanted to prepare everything, right? And so I stopped and I made a heavy prayer before I went to the house, okay? Because I was asking the Lord, just to, allow me to do this Passover, all right, without any interruptions. And I'm telling you, if you knew, because some of you may be out there in the same situation, man, right, where some things are just impossible for you to get to peace, man. Okay, so I knew it was the Lord answering that prayer, man, because it was a humble request. And so I got 0 interruptions. Not only that, I closed that door, to the front, from, the kitchen door or whatever. Nobody came. All right. There was no interruptions until I was finally, the whole ceremony was over, and now I was starting to, eat the Passover meal. All right. Because we were supposed to eat it in haste. That's when, people started, but it was over with. And also on another level, because we're rehearsing the righteous acts. So, I I wanted a menorah. I just can't afford it. I haven't been able to even still now. So like I did the ceremony to a T, but I didn't have a shofar. So every time, where it would come up where you're supposed to blow the shofar, I just simulated, okay? Like I really was blowing it, but I really didn't have anything in my hands. I actually simulated, blowing the shofar. And as far as the candle, when you're supposed to light the candle, I didn't have a lighter or a candlestick or anything like that. No menorah. I just pretended like I was, it's all about you, you know, pretty much reverencing and, just commemorating, all right? Because it's not some crazy celebration like some of these camps do, man. And that's why the elder brought out, a very good point before he even moved forward with, his lesson. To be persuaded in your own mind, because this ain't just something, oh, I know I'm an Israelite now. Oh, everybody's doing Passover. I'm going to do it too. No, man, this is a serious thing, okay? And I had my first personal Passover by myself last year. In that prayer, hey, I prayed to the Lord to ask to give me, that peace, because I knew I wasn't going to get peace, because, you know your own situation. All right. So, you know, but let me just keep going. Just, sharing that, randomly, so, it says, where we Matthew 45, 45, it says that ye may be the children of your Father which is in heaven, for he maketh his sun to rise on the evil and on the good, and sendeth rain on the just and on the unjust. For if ye love them which love you, what reward have ye? Do not even the publicans the same? Right? It says, if ye love them which love you, what reward have ye? Do not even the publicans the same? What were the publicans about? Those were those tax collectors, and there were some that were wicked, because what they would do is they will overcharge to make an extra buck, so they were overtaxing the people. All right. It says if ye salute your brethren only, what do ye more than others? Do not even the publicans so? But ye therefore, be ye therefore perfect, even as your Father which is in heaven is perfect. And just to make another note, as we mentioned a while ago, it says be in peace with all men, because you have no idea, and especially more so in this modern time, it was more understandable back then. But now, all right, like if those ancient men, okay, in their bodies or with their eyes would just drop down here, in this earth today, they were like, what the hell is going on? Because they don't know who's who. That's why Ezra asked the same thing. John the Revelator was like, who are these? Sir, thou knowest. Because they were seeing people who were Israelites, but they looked like the heathens, but they weren't heathens. Okay? So you not knowing who a person is, all right? You don't know that like the one guy, right? When I asked him, so those are white people rocking around? Yeah, hell yeah, yeah, blah, 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 blah. How you know? Because look at them. Well, I'm looking at them, but that don't mean I know that they're Edomites. Okay? You see, going off, because he doesn't understand the spiritual thing, all right? Because you could be looking at someone who looks like a so-called white person, but they're actually an Israelite, okay? Matter of fact, it could be two people, all right? Maybe there's a man that looks like an Edomite and a woman that looks like an Edomite, and that man's an Israelite and that woman is an actual Edomite, but they both look like they're so-called white people. You see, you don't know by face value, right? So, keeping, at peace with all men, right? Not only just to, to keep the peace and so you can walk, according to the law, or to the scriptures, I should say, but also because you never know when you're doing a wrongdoing towards another Israelite. All right. And even if it's a heathen, all right, you're not just commanded to just go around, making people kiss your boots and stuff like that and all this kind of crazy, or getting in arguments and fights. No, man, you're going off. You're being carnal. All right. So, and in the last scripture says what? Be ye therefore perfect, even as your Father which is in heaven is perfect. And we know that we cannot be perfect in these bodies, but Yahweh Shah is basically saying here, hey, you have the ability to do the right thing. All right. So, do it to the best of your ability. Okay. So that you may be found, worthy and, with mercy. All right. So that was the end of Matthew chapter 5. I know there's a lot going on there. We probably could have broken it into two parts, but we would hit it in, one clean shot. So Lord will, you will edify to next thing. Yahshua, I'm going to say shalom.